Hi, my name is Rob Scott from UC Today, and welcome to our January 2023 Microsoft Teams news update. So in this month's edition, we'll be sharing our top 10 Microsoft Teams predictions from 10 experts from the Teams space. So stay tuned to be inspired. Now, as always, I'm joined by Microsoft Teams expert and co-founder of Empowering.Cloud, Tom Arbuthnot. Happy New Year, Tom. How's it going?
Yeah, Happy New Year, Rob. Yeah, it's all good. Yeah, busy start to the year. It's all go, but all good stuff.
Indeed. Lots happening, and really excited about today's session.
Yeah, I love hearing from everybody to see what their predictions are for the year. It's always really interesting.
Yeah, I'm sure we're going to get some great predictions. So, Tom, first of all, what's on your mind for this year? Rub your crystal ball. What's your big prediction for 2023?
Yeah, it's always a tough one because it's what you know versus what you can talk about versus what you predict. But I think my prediction for 2023 is we're really going to see the video AI element come in as sort of being mainstream. Last year it was a new thing that we had, clever framing and kind of some smarts. I think over this year will really cement in. You see all the AI technology coming along. Actually doing clever video is not that hard compared to some of the AI tasks. So I think the kind of multi-camera, the clever direction, I think by the end of this year, we'll start thinking that's a default for a high-end meeting experience rather than something special.
Yeah, I hope so. I certainly think there's loads of scope for AI, isn't there, in the team space, more and more in the meeting space.
There's so much. I think over the next few years, that's going to be the thing that really separates some of these solutions is, you look at the investment going into AI across the board and the things that we can, do with AI in terms of meeting summaries and all the audio improvements, video improvements. But I think the direction is really interesting for me because it's not that difficult from a hardware perspective to put multiple cameras in a room. But the problem has always been choosing which one. You needed literally some very high-end offices have somebody in the back controlling the cameras. But if the AI can use both mics and visual movement to pick up who's best on the screen, that could suddenly create a really engaging experience for the remote attendee with no people overhead.
Yeah, indeed. Endless possibilities with AI. From my perspective, I was thinking that actually Teams 2 might be interesting this year. I think Microsoft's going to release some kind of new skin, some kind of new look and feel around Microsoft Teams. But I'm hoping they do it, or I say I'm hoping. I wonder whether they'll do it before someone else. Will another vendor release a new interface, new meeting interface, or will Microsoft Teams get there first? I'm just kind of wondering. I'm thinking there's going to be a new, slightly more immersive edition, possibly of the kind of meeting interface that we're now used to. So
yeah, that's interesting because everybody basically has the exact same experience, don't they? So it's have we landed on the best thing or just the default thing? I think if you look at the metaverse stuff coming as well, that's really interesting, and other vendors will have variants of their metaverse stuff, so that might change the layout a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Another dimension to our kind of UC experience.
Yeah, UC and VR and XR all come together suddenly.
We'll see. Well, without much of ado, why don't we have a listen to what everyone's got to say, what their predictions are. Let's go to Ryan Herbst first from unifiedcommunications.com. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
Hi, I'm Ryan Herbst, Chief Strategist with unifiedcommunications.com. My team's prediction for 2023 is that organizations will recognize the role of personal devices in hybrid work as they seek to evolve productivity and engagement. Last year, organizations focused their efforts on enabling meeting spaces for teams, which is critical to hybrid success, and this will certainly continue this year, but they were less intentional about personal devices. Most organizations are still using devices they hastily purchased at the beginning of the pandemic. In 2023, they'll recognize that personal devices play an enormous role in hybrid, and that modern Teams devices can help reduce distractions, which is one of the biggest productivity challenges to conquer in hybrid. Additionally, the right devices enhance how we hear, sound, and look, which translates into increased engagement. 2023 will bring new Teams certified headsets, portable speakerphones, webcams, lighting, and devices specifically built for hot desking into the forefront as fundamental building blocks for hybrid success.
Great, Tom. So really interesting prediction to start with there from Ryan. He thinks things are going to get a little bit more personal in 2023. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely hope he's right. He's definitely right that generally the organisations I've worked with haven't had a default decent budget for giving workers really good headsets and webcams and home devices, home speakerphones. And it's such a good ROI in terms of investment. You don't have to spend hundreds of dollars to get something certified and of quality. And if you think of things like the problems of meeting fatigue and bad audio, just audio at least, investing there is interesting. The shared device thing is interesting too. I'm seeing that come up a little bit as well around the idea of having breakout spaces or telephone booth type scenarios with video and devices as well. So yeah, I think it's something that enterprises or organizations certainly should be looking at, and I hope that pans out.
Indeed, and I wonder whether we're going to see any more vendors entering that kind of Teams device space this year.
It's getting really busy. It's getting really, really competitive and busy in that space, and it doesn't seem to be slowing down. And obviously, the market is accelerating massively as well. So there's more opportunity for everybody, and competition is good for innovation. But yeah, if you're in that space, you've really got to be innovating.
Indeed, and with HP now, acquiring Poly, I wonder whether we'll see more from HP, coming through.
Yeah. Well, you've got the Cisco devices coming along. You've got D10 about to come along on the room systems, and you see some of the, like Sony came in with a first certified device as well. So you're seeing like some of the brands that you used to see in enterprise coming in to be certified as well.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, well, let's go to number 2. We've got Patrick Watson from Cavell Group. He's a Microsoft Teams kind of expert, researcher, and analyst. So let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
So 2022 was a big year for Microsoft Teams in terms of telephony. Back in March, Microsoft announced Operator Connect Mobile, which was subsequently rebranded as Teams Phone Mobile, a brand new fixed mobile convergent solution that effectively allows a mobile device to become a Teams phone endpoint and a Microsoft Teams user to have a mobile phone number assigned to their user account. Then in July, during one of its earnings calls, Microsoft announced that Teams had 12 million PSTN-enabled users. So my prediction for 2023 is one in relation to the growth of those telephony enablement numbers. Our data model here at Cavell forecasts that the PSTN enablement number should have risen to over 15 million users globally by now. So I think during 2023, we should hear more news from Microsoft, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if they announced that Teams had over 20 million PSTN enabled users.
An interesting prediction from Patrick there based on the data. So I'm hoping this is going to be a credible one.
Yeah, nice of him to put his neck on the line with an actual number. Most people skirt around the it'll increase. So, Cavell have been proven a couple of times to be pretty bang on with the numbers. So I certainly think that's a plausible number. I've heard as well around 15 is the answer right now. That's 5 million in a year. It's a lot. The only counter I would say is Teams Phone Mobile, interestingly, because it's new and it's only available for select carriers in select countries, actually in some cases it's slowing projects down because people are like, oh, I want that, but my carrier doesn't have it yet, or it's not in all the countries yet. So ironically, that new feature might actually slow down PSTN, but I still think the way Microsoft are pushing and the way orgs are going, 20 million sounds plausible to me.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want to hear more from Patrick and Cavell Group, they run events all across the year. Get yourself to those. We'll be mentioning those later as well. But yeah, fantastic. Let's move on to number 3. So we got Simon Leyland from CloudInteract. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
Hi everyone. My prediction for 2023 is that it will be the year that Microsoft make a real push into contact centers, using Teams as a key strength in their battles with the likes of Amazon Web Services and Salesforce. The contact center is ready for disruption as customers demand greater ways of communicating with the organizations they choose to spend their money with. Amazon Web Services and Salesforce have several years of experience in this market already, and Microsoft have some catching up to do. But with their pedigree and products and millions of active users of Teams, they have a significant part to play with enterprises in key discussions on how to digitize their contact centers in 2023.
Okay, contact center. We knew it was coming, but Simon is saying it's going to be an even bigger push in the contact center space for Microsoft this year. What do you think?
Yeah, I think definitely. It was 2 years ago we had predictions, and everybody was predicting contact center disruption, and it definitely Microsoft want to push for this space. They're gearing up. The Nuance acquisition has given them massive strength in this area. I think their challenge is complexity. They have so many different things bolted together for that Dynamics contact center experience. On the Converse side, it gives them a lot of power. The Nuance, the AI stuff. Yes, I think Simon's right. They're coming for that space. I think it's going to be tough. It's a very competitive space with lots of different players there. But as Simon said, that strength of the teams and the insane number of Teams users, they should be able to pivot off that and have a dent on this market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so many contact center vendors now certified for Teams. There's something for everyone out there, isn't there? But certainly their own native product, I can imagine, can be a real contender going forward.
Yeah, definitely. And I think where Microsoft are pitching themselves is kind of beyond just like voice contact center. They're trying to get into the AI, the chat, the multimodality. Like that's what the data, that's the Dynamics unit USP, I think, for them. So we'll see where the market is on that. It's always the question.
Okay, well, let's go over to Scott Riley for prediction number 4. He's from Cloud Nexus. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
Hey guys, it's Scott Riley here from Cloud Nexus. Now, I have one big prediction for Teams in 2023, and that is I think we're going to see much more AI interactions inside our day-to-day conversations and meetings. You've probably already seen in the news very recently that Microsoft are making big strides to acquire some or all of ChatGPT. Now, I think that we're going to see that really closely integrated into our meetings. If you think today, we can already do automatic transcriptions of meetings, and so you can get a list of everything and who said what in the meetings. I think it's going to get stepped up a level. So let's say that we're in a conversation in a Teams meeting and I say to Ben, hey Ben, let's catch up next Tuesday about that project that we're talking about. The AI system is going to go away, look in our calendar and automatically book in a slot for me and Ben to have a catch up on that Tuesday. So that's it from me. Let's see what happens this year.
Okay, an interesting one from Scott, certainly along the lines of what you were talked about earlier, Tom, but he's mentioned ChatGPT and that's hot right now, isn't it?
I definitely want that feature. Like that idea of the AI picking up what you say and booking a meeting sounds amazing. Yeah, the ChatGPT stuff at the end of this year and the end of last year, the start of this year has been massive, obviously, and it's helping people understand the capabilities of that AI. So yeah, like again, this is relatively not a complex problem to solve, like picking out phrases, looking at the diary, and this is where Microsoft have the data. They've got Office 365, they've got the email, they've got the calendar, they've got the meeting, so it's within their power. And obviously, like Scott said, they're very invested in that open AI technology, so I'd love to see it. That would definitely be exciting, and it's definitely on some timeline coming. Whether it's this year, we'll see, but I would definitely love to see it.
Yes, as we said earlier, I mean, endless possibilities here, certainly with ChatGPT. I tested it out, pretty cool. If you haven't, get on their website and have a look. Yeah,
it's worth looking at. It really gives you a vision of what's coming and how quickly the space is going to accelerate.
Yeah, it's a real game changer. Super. Right, well, let's go to prediction number 5. We got Randy Chapman from UC Status.
So my big prediction this year is around management of Teams devices, and in particular, Teams rooms. It's a bit of a mixed bag with regards to management. You've got the Teams Admin Center, and now thanks to the Pro license, you've got the Pro Portal. And again, even there is a mixed bag. So you can manage Windows devices and even Surface hubs, and things will start to trickle in when it comes to Android devices. I predict that by the end of this year, hopefully a lot sooner, you'll be able to monitor the health and all the settings with regards to all of your Teams Rooms devices. Doesn't matter whether they're on Windows, whether they're a Surface Hub or an Android solution. Everything will be treated equally and everything will be available to all devices. What do you think?
A great prediction from Randy there, and he's is absolutely in the right space right now.
He would know, wouldn't he?
He would know. So, what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think it's a very, very safe prediction. It's certainly what everybody wants. I mean, that's one of the weaknesses of the Microsoft Teams story at the moment is with Rooms, you've got the OEM tools, you've got the Pro Portal, you've got Teams Admin Center, and it's different for Windows and it's different for Android. And Microsoft have said before that is the North Star to get everything aligned. So yeah, we've been waiting a while, particularly on the Android front, to have kind of a really good management experience. So definitely that's the North Star, and I think this year is a good timeline for that prediction.
Yeah, it's absolutely time to unify that team's, device management experience now. So yeah, looking forward to that. And I'm sure many people in the audience are too. Okay, let's look at prediction number 6. Kevin Keiller from EnableUC.
Happy New Year. It's 2023 and therefore time for predictions. My name is Kevin Keiller. I'm the co-founder of EnableUC, the co-developer of the Trivia Engine for Teams app, and the leader of BC Strategies. And while I think Microsoft Teams is awesome and I love helping organizations and vendors get the most from Microsoft Teams, I predict that the Teams premium license is just a bridge too far, and that Microsoft is going to have to roll back that concept. Now, of course, they could perhaps charge more for the advanced webinar capability as a separate license, but given competitive pressures from the WebEx suite and Zoom, which is adding additional capabilities, I just think Microsoft licensing is sufficiently complicated already. And so we'll see in 2023 Teams premium licensing change or die a slow death.
It seems an ongoing bone of contention in the team space, doesn't it? This premium license, Tom. What do you think?
Yeah, I appreciate Kevin kind of sticking his neck out on this one because it is a touchy topic. But I think he's definitely got a plausible prediction there. So adding a $10 per user license is a big uplift for customers. And interestingly, I kind of agree with Kevin. The webinar features, when they come through, will be really good value. $10 extra for a really good webinar experience is actually really good value in the market. But it's a real subset of users that need that. And then there's security features in there. There's AI meeting summaries in there. I don't think the orgs I'm working with are definitely not looking to spend more right now or spend on anything extra with the economic climate. So I think going in trying to upsell $10 per user per month is a significant jump. Microsoft are obviously trying to up the ARPU across the board in Office 365. That's what they're thinking. But I agree with it. I think $5 a month for a webinar would be bargain of the century, and it would sell very, very well. And people would say that's justified. Bundling security and AI and a bunch of features, I think it will get reshaped as well.
Yeah, certainly an interesting one. Let's see how that goes. But I think I'm with Kevin on that one. I think there might have to be a rollback or some kind of move on Microsoft's part.
Reimagining.
That's what they say nowadays, isn't it?
You never go backwards, you reimagine.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go to our friend Graham Walsh from Neat. He's got a very interesting prediction lined up for us.
Last year, I said it would be the year of the platform consolidation. And I've seen this happening, and it's still a work in progress. So we're getting there, especially for the larger organizations. So will mesh avatars take off? What do we think? It's one of these features that you really must test out and use and understand. Hearing about it isn't enough. You really have to use it to understand how it can be used in your daily life. This is similar to Microsoft Teams display. You have to see and use one, and then you understand the experience and use cases of that. So that's a new category within the Microsoft ecosystem, and more OEMs are coming out with this. Next up is camera innovations. 3 OEMs have announced center of room cameras, and I'm sure more to be certified. There are already players out there with devices in that space. So maybe they will get certified. Who knows? I might be surprised. But it's how they're going to be used this time is going to be different. We had them years ago with Ryan Table. Remember, meetings are very, very different now. People are on both sides of the screen, should we say, and it's taking camera angles. And each OEM has taken a different approach to this. So it'll be exciting to see this come in 2023. So in summary, 2022, seeing was believing, was the term, but now it's using it, we'll be believing in the technology.
Great prediction from Graham there. I mean, he's mentioned mesh avatars and demonstrated avatars. He's talking about Teams displays and center of room cameras. I mean, is this going to be an ongoing trend, Tom? Are we going to see an appetite in the enterprise for, adopting these new technologies?
Yeah, interesting. I think on the avatar front, I'm not seeing a huge appetite. It's seen as quite gimmicky at the moment. I think. I wonder if it's a bit like, we never thought emojis would come to enterprise comms, and here they are, and Giphies are in enterprise comms. I feel like it's in that bucket of it's hard to visualize. But it is a step up from no visual, so it's not a replacement for video. I think it's a step up from audio. Thinking of it like that, but I think it will get a lukewarm reception. To be honest, the avatars, center of room cameras, really interesting. Like Logi have got that coming. Obviously, Neat have got that coming. Yealink have got that coming. And Graham touched on exactly the right thing here. The opportunity for the different OEMs to innovate and control how the camera experience works. I think we'll see some interesting competition, innovation, exciting stuff there. So I'm really excited to get hands on with those cameras later in the year.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Lots of really cool tech coming through, and I can't wait to play with avatars because I'm not in the in
it's
the in
coming
crowd.
soon, imminently.
Yeah, I haven't got that update yet, but I'm looking forward to it. But okay, well, let's go on to the next one. David Dungay from UC today. Let's have a listen to what he's got to say.
Hi, I'm David Dungay from UC Today, and this is my team's prediction for 2023. I think this year is going to be all about immersive experiences. And for Microsoft, that means Microsoft Mesh. I don't think we're going to see a HoloLens 3 this year as Microsoft really doubles down on its key strategic relationships with people like Meta. So, Microsoft apps are going to start hitting the MetaQuest devices this year, which is going to really drive that demand for immersive experiences at home and in the enterprise. Users are finally going to understand this year the benefits of services like Microsoft Mesh and what collaborative virtual environments can really bring to their businesses. So Microsoft obviously has a huge Microsoft Teams installed base, and this is the obvious hunting ground for Microsoft to start converting some of that into these virtual type of products. By the end of the year, I really do think we're going to see virtual rooms or collaborative rooms, Microsoft Mesh, become a normal part of the hybrid working mix. That's my prediction for 2023. Have a good one.
Fantastic. So Microsoft Mesh is at the center of David's prediction. HoloLens, not so much, but he reckons that in the hybrid mix, we're going to start seeing a lot more of these technologies coming through, especially with the MetaQuest VR headset. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think price point is really important here, and HoloLens is a super high-end device for very industrial use cases, kind of higher-end use cases, and the Quest devices hit a more aggressive price point, which is key for adoption. A normal part of collaboration, I think that might be a stretch, but I certainly think we'll this year will be a testing ground, because last year everybody was super hot on this technology, and we'll see whether the use cases pan through. I do think there are use cases. The main one, interestingly for me, is how immersive that experience is, which blocks you out from doing your email and your Teams messages and everything else while you're in the meeting. So for event scenarios, maybe like virtual town halls, for kind of showing off new products, that kind of thing, I think it could be another scenario we have in the mix, like we have today, webinars and live events. We might just have meta events, as part of the mix.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the immersive space, it's very use case focused at the moment. It's, they're solving problems. When it comes to collaboration, that's a big space, and it might be that they have to start somewhere small to start with to get that kind of adoption. Certain times of it.
I think so. I can see a special event using it. And you think about the event ticket prices. If you start saying, well, actually, we could eat the cost of a headset during that event, costs for the ticket, we ship it out to people. Suddenly, that gets interesting because it becomes part of the event. I think that's how it will start hitting mainstream.
Indeed. Okay, number 9, we've got Zeus Kerravala from ZK Research. Let's have a listen to what Zeus has got to say.
Hi, I'm Zeus Kerravala from ZK Research, and my 2023 prediction for Microsoft Teams is that Teams Contact Center will be a flop this year. There's no doubt that the demand for Teams is at an all-time high as companies are looking to use collaboration tools to fuel hybrid work. However, the use of Teams has largely been driven by the IT department, with workers preferring other apps that are much more user-friendly. If you look at Microsoft's strategy overall as a company, in fact, it tends to build apps that are good enough in nature, and then they do a license bundle. This is why companies choose a partner for critical applications such as vendors like RingCentrally buy it for Teams calling versus the native calling features. Early feedback on the Teams contact center is that it's the same. It's a good enough product, but I don't believe this strategy will actually fly in the contact center, as it's the lifeblood of most organizations. With that being said, they are doing some good things. Team Contact Center has a good desktop. It has native AI, but it's complicated to get up and running and gets expensive very fast. Also, building reports that are consistent with what you can get from the mainstream vendors requires developer support. So will Microsoft eventually get Contact Center right? Maybe, but it won't be in 2023.
Ooh, interesting. So Teams in the contact center, not sure whether they're going to make it this year, but they might come back in the future and get better and have a bigger impact is Zeus's prediction here. So what do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think Zeus touched on a really key point there, which is where is the contact center decision made? And it's definitely not made in IT. It's a business to consumer face or business to customer facing scenario. It's often a rev generating scenario. So it's very business / contact center owner led. And yeah, I guess he's talking about kind of the Microsoft Dynamics contact center scenario, the higher end option in the Microsoft stack. It's interesting, Simon bullish on where Microsoft need to be for this, and is a little bit more critical of where Microsoft could be. And I think he could be right. Microsoft have got to get their muscle right in that space. I think the only thing to consider is the Nuance acquisition gives them an army of people that know this space, that already work with existing contact center vendors. So that is kind of a secret weapon for them to get into the space. But yeah, we'll see at the end of the year how much penetration they've made in that market.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, getting that traction is going to be tough, as you say. Lots of other vendors in there, and Dynamics is a huge, complex, ecosystem of products now, isn't it? And
yeah, that's almost the blessing and the curse. If you're a Salesforce outfit, would you pick Dynamics for your contact center? Probably not. And actually, they the technology can work together, but that's the thing. It only really makes sense for Dynamics first organizations or on that journey.
Exactly. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Well, our last but not by very least prediction today is with Mark Vale from Commsverse. Let's go over to Mark, see what he's got to say.
My Microsoft Teams prediction for 2023 is Microsoft will integrate ChatGPT into Microsoft Teams chats for more suggestive automated replies to messages that you may receive from your colleagues.
Another ChatGPT prediction, Tom. I mean, AI is the theme this year. ChatGPT, with its potential valuation now of 29 billion, it's got to have some impact in the team space. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just got to. I mean, Teams already has suggested replies. Obviously, they're very basic. They're the thanks and bye, and like you see on other platforms. ChatGPT could change that. The only interesting thing is, if you look at the costs to run that ChatGPT infrastructure, I think it's like $1 billion a day or something at retail compute. It's insane. Obviously, Microsoft are funding a lot of that at the moment. So how do Microsoft, if the compute costs that much and they've got 270, probably going up to 300 million users, can they afford the compute to generate all that AI, or do they make it part of the premium license? But yeah, I think Mark's right. I think on some timeline, that has to get, or that type of technology gets integrated. My question is, how long is it before your AI is talking to my AI and we're not actually talking to each other at all?
Well, yeah, effectively they've taken over, I think.
yeah, they'll just let us know what we've got to do at the end.
well, that's going to be an interesting one as it plays out this year, but so much investment going into ChatGPT, and I can imagine we're going to see lots more from Microsoft and other app developers within the space as well, coming through with pretty cool features that make our life easier and hopefully in Teams. So let's see where we go. Tom, right, well, a fantastic set of predictions this year. So I think we'll have to just wait and see who's on the money. What do you reckon?
Yeah. So I appreciate everybody taking the time and some of them putting their neck on the line with very specific predictions. So we'll loop round at the end of the year and see where everybody is. But I think there's definitely some solid guidance for direction there, and a lot around AI. So we'll see if it all plays out.
Yeah, thank you so much to everyone for getting involved. Just before we sign off today, we just wanted to plug a few events. It's January, it's Q1, there's plenty going on. So we've got some Microsoft Teams events reminders for you. First of all, we've got UC Summit in January, 23rd of January. That opens up wide, across the kind of UC space. Lots are happening in there. Tom, we've got ISE. Are you going to ISE this year?
Yep. Yeah, I'll be at ISE, which is really interesting. Not traditionally a show I would go to, but the devices element of Teams is so important now, and a lot of the key vendors and Microsoft are there. So yeah, I'll be bringing back all the device news from ISE on the next show.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, lots happening at ISE, and it's got a big UC hall now, so do pay that a visit. Next up, we've got Teams Fireside Chat on 9th of February.
Yeah, that's been going really well month on month now. So we usually have about 100 people on that, and we pull in an expert to talk. And this month February it'll be Adam Ball. So he runs a specialist Microsoft partner around Teams and UC, and he'll give us some great insights.
Fantastic. Next up after that, we've got Cavell CloudCom Summit in London, 8th March.
Yeah, looking forward to that one. There's always good insights from that. We were just talking, they had an event at the end of the year that was very well attended. So they have their finger on the pulse with Patrick and the team. So interesting stuff there.
Yeah, absolutely. And just tipping into April, do look out for CommsvNext, 25th and 26th of April. Will you be going this year?
Yeah, I'll definitely be there. This is one of my, if I had to pick kind of two go-to shows in our space, it would be CommsvNext and Commsverse. Like the quality of the speakers and the event is really, really strong, and nice to have it early in the year. So yeah, I'd highly recommend people get to that one. I'll definitely be there.
Great, fantastic. Lots of events. Do get yourself to those, and it'd be nice to shake hands with you as we go to those events. Anyway, that's it from us. If you've enjoyed today's session, please subscribe to UC Today News and give this video a quick share on social, as we always appreciate it. And if you're a Microsoft Teams fan, you can connect with Tom or myself on LinkedIn or Twitter, and our social links are in the description. So thanks to everyone again for joining. We'll be back again next month with another fill of Microsoft Teams news updates and insights. I'm Rob Scott from UC Today. Thanks for watching.